Of stakeholders in the mining sector have described the Impala Platinum Mine accident in Rustenburg as a tragedy. 11 miners died when a personnel conveyance cage fell down shaft number 11 at the mine yesterday. 75 other mine workers were injured in the incident. The next phase now is for a thorough investigation into what really happened at the mine. Impala Platinum says it's working with the relevant government departments to get the investigation underway and says it will be transparent all the way, as this is a moment that all stakeholders need to learn from the lessons from this incident. Labour unions have said the accident calls into question many issues around health and safety. Lerato Tsele filed this report for us.
Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe noted that the fatalities in the mining sector had seemingly improved this year relative to last year, with 41 recorded just before the Implat incident. Last year, 49 mining-related deaths were recorded, but noted that that improvement had now dissipated.
We're hoping that we'll continue investing in improving health and safety in the mine. People must go to work, come back alive. That is what we want to see. So that is where we are. We've done inspection in local. We've seen exactly what happened. They said this is what tripped and this is what tripped. They can give that information if they want to. But they must be careful that when they are cross-examined in the investigation, they must be able to explain it in details. But it is a disaster.
Implat says this is a tragedy for them as a corporate family and has promised to be transparent in the ensuing investigations that will seek to get to the bottom of what really transpired.
We have lost 11 lives. That is 0 lives too many. We have been working with the Minerals Council, with the department, with everybody to the road to zero harm. And it is our commitment as a company to continue on that road. Secondly, as the Minister has said, the investigation is to take place. We are cooperating with the department, with the Chief Inspector, as well as our major stakeholders, the trade union, AMCU, who have been here with us since last night when this was discovered that it is a disaster.
Labour union NUMSA has expressed its shock and concern at the incident, welcoming the impending investigation into the matter.
We must raise concerns about the safety of workers at Impala Platinum. And this is why, as a union, we look forward to an investigation by the Department of Employment and Labour, which will shed light on exactly what caused this incident and also will shed light on who is responsible. Because it is frankly unacceptable that we continue to have workers dying underground possibly in circumstances that could be prevented.
The NUM, similarly shocked, said it was critical that mining houses in general now appraise their health and safety procedures and processes right across the board, and asked for management teams to be more attentive when miners raise potential safety concerns to help avert disasters.
We are appealing then to say all the mines must take in consideration precautions that they do the shaft examination according to the procedures. We know that 6 months or twice a year there should be a rope examination on both sides, and monthly the rope examination are done. We'll be taking part of the investigations that will be done in a mine. We'll be making sure that we are part of making sure that all the systems that need to be in place or the system failures that need to be found out and a replacement with technology devices, that should be done by the mine bosses.
The Minerals Council South Africa issued a statement saying it mourned with the family, friends and colleagues of those who died, while also wishing those injured well. It noted that it had lent immediate support to Implat yesterday by deploying specialist rescue teams to the affected shaft. Meanwhile, news of the accident at the mine caused investor jitters, with the Implat share price falling by as much as 7.5% by mid-afternoon. Lerato Tsele, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Well, earlier our reporter, Sentleng, he spoke to AMCU.
Can I say again, the life of a black worker in South Africa is cheap, in particular in the mining sector. It's just a number. And I'm saying this with all due respect. If you look where we are standing in terms of the number of the breadwinners that perish in this mine, we are sitting at 41, excluding the 11 that we are talking about. Yes, indeed, it is a sad day today in the mining industry and the South Africa at large. We are conveying our sincere condolences to the families, the friends and the neighbors and the community at large. We still got a long way to go here in South Africa when it comes to mine health and safety. You will recall that AMCO has been making clearance calls in terms of amending of Mine Health and Safety Act, because we felt strong that the current Mine Health and Safety Act does not bite. I mean, it doesn't change anything. The status quo still remains. Workers are still dying underground. No consequences to the owners of the mine.
40 plus mine workers have deceased this year. Our mines are becoming living coffins. Will these mining companies be brought to account? Will somebody be held responsible as these mine workers continue to perish underground?
It will never. I mean, I think here in South Africa, we are more focused on the interest of the foreign direct investors in the expense of the livelihood of the South Africans. As we stand at about 32% of unemployment, do you think the government can reprimand these mines? Because they will be saying you are chasing out the investors, in the country. So the inquiries and the investigations that will be conducted is a tick box exercise, because after all these processes has been concluded, you've never heard of any CO, any mining houses that has been taken into task in terms of the killing of the workers.
Our expectations as AMCU, families have lost their loved ones. Are we not pressing the mine to bring support and ensure that, the contributions the breadwinners made there continue?
No, we've been calling even to the government and to the mining house to say, if a worker passed on due to this accident, no replacement should be allowed. Like, for instance, the replacement, you take one of the children must come and work at the mine. Some of them, they have to drop out from school to come and work to feed the family. We are saying to Impala, let the salary of the worker who perished be paid to the widow or to the family up to the pensionable age. 2, if that family does not have any roof on top of their head, let the mine build proper houses.
All right, now let's discuss mining safety. We're now joined via Teams by Minerals Council South Africa's acting head of safety and sustainable development, Lerato Tsele. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon. So Minister Gwede Mantashe earlier on labelled this as a disaster. Let's get your reaction to the latest incident at Impala Platinum Mine accident in Rustenburg.
Good afternoon, Unati, and thanks for having me. On behalf of the, let me start by conveying our deepest condolences to the families, the colleagues, the loved ones of the 11 colleagues that passed on at Impala. It is indeed a disaster. In the industry, we term 5 deaths that occur in one incident as a disaster. So this is quite devastating for us. And this comes at the backdrop of the industry being, having improved our safety performance over the past two decades. If you look at the stats of 2003, a total of 270 employees passed on. And we had managed to bring that figure down significantly to 49 at the end of last year. Before this incident, we were doing quite well as well at 41. Let me also emphasize that it is still 41 too many lives that are lost. And I want to take this opportunity to reiterate and reconfirm the Minerals Council's commitment to the achievement of the goal of zero harm. We want to make sure that all employees go home back to their loved ones in one piece at the end of every shift. And we are devastated by this incident. And as I said, this comes at the backdrop of us having really improved as an industry when it comes to safety performance. there was an acknowledgement and acceptance by the company CEOs in the whole industry that it's important for them to take the leadership stance if we are really to make significant strides in the improvement of safety. And as such, the Minerals Council board had increased the number or the frequency of its meetings. It used to meet every quarter once, but now the meetings have been increased to every month, and they dedicate an hour towards the consideration of the safety performance in the industry. So disasters like this one of Impala will also be considered by the CEOs in the special board meetings that they have on a monthly basis. But over and above, it's not the only thing that's leadership driven. Over and above that, we've got the CEO Zero Harm Forum, which is made up of CEOs of the various companies, and they meet every quarter to consider intervention strategies that we can collectively implement as the industry to further improve safety performance and to get our the achievement of our goal of zero harm.
All right.
So there's a whole... Yeah,
let me come in there. So listening to the CEO, he's just going back to this particular incident. He says the next phase now is for a thorough investigation into what really happened at that mine, yesterday. What are you expecting, this investigation to focus on and ultimately to reveal, particularly because of what you've just highlighted in terms of the goals that you have set yourselves in terms of zero harm to all workers?
Yeah, this investigation should be able to get us to the root cause. We need to know exactly what went wrong and what interventions failed, if there are any, so that we can know how to, properly address and avoid repeats. I was going to say through our Minerals Council Kumbule Kaya strategy, which means remember home, as an Nguni word, we have established what we call learning from incidents working group. So this group is going to also subsequently focus on the preliminary findings of Impala to try to delve down to get the actual root cause, because it's only through then that we can be able to make sure that there are no repeat accidents of the same nature.
So, of course, our various journalists have been speaking to some of the unions that play a role in the mine, particularly AMCU. And they, of course, are very concerned about the health and safety of workers, saying that it seems like priority is always shifted towards investors and the production itself, as opposed to the safety, of miners. I mean, in as far as the Mine Health and Safety Act is concerned, how rigorous are employers taking this into account?
I think we need to all acknowledge that without employees, there is no mining. Without miners, there's no mining. So there's no investors if there's no mining, if we cannot mine sustainably and safely. So we do make sure that we implement all legal requirements, even best practices that are not necessarily included in the law. We strive out to find what those are. We benchmark ourselves globally with other mining companies in other jurisdictions. We try to send out feelers to scan the technological advancements that are out there all the time so we can improve. So there is no mining without legal compliance. I mean, if we would not be compliant to the law, the mines would be shut down. There's legal instruments that shuts the mine down when there's non-compliance. So there is no way that we can have sound business if we don't comply to the law.
Just talking about, investors, of course, South Africa is a very lucrative sector, particularly in the platinum space. Just talk to us about what does this incident then display and communicate, particularly to the international markets?
This incident, it is unfortunate. It was unforeseen. And that is why we were going to focus our energies on trying to determine what went wrong. We are spending a lot of money through many initiatives from the collective Minerals Council level and individual company level to make sure that we work safe, because we believe that there's no sustainable mining if employees are not going to be protected in terms of health and safety at work. As I said, there are various initiatives that are led collectively through the Minerals Council. I have spoken about some of them. Some of them have to do with us changing from a blame culture to a just learning culture, so that we learn, so that some other mines don't have to go through the same incident that Impala went through, that they can learn from the learnings that can be obtained from the excellent investigation, and we can improve. So there's a whole lot of initiatives that we are doing collectively with our social partners through the Mine Health and Safety Council, which is the organized labor unions and the Department of Mineral, Energy and Resources, so resources and energy. So we work collectively. There's a whole lot of initiatives that we are doing with our social partners and at the industry level as the Minerals Council that we are leading. And I've alluded to some of them. I've alluded to the commitment and leadership from our CEOs and board members. I mean, there's also a strategy that deals with force of ground. I don't know if you are aware that force of ground remains the biggest contributor to industry fatalities. And what the CEOs then did was challenge the Minerals Council to come up with an intervention strategy to eliminate force of ground accidents per se. And they've invested 46 million over a period of 5 years, starting from last year. And we have a lot of very good initiatives that are going to make mining safer.
Lerato, let me thank you for your time. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Lerato Tsele, there is the Mineral Council South Africa's head of safety and sustainable development, of course, talking about safety-related matters at mines following this disaster.